All right, so let's get into it. Today, we're digging into a real hidden gem, a book with some pretty radical but also timeless ideas about our health. It's called How and When to Be Your Own Doctor, and trust me, its core message might just flip the way you think about healing. You know that feeling, right? When you're just drowning in all the conflicting health advice out there. One day it's this diet, the next it's that supplement. It's confusing, it can get expensive, and honestly, it's just plain exhausting.
But what if the answer isn't about adding more stuff to your routine? What if it's about taking something away? This book introduces this incredibly powerful, almost forgotten concept for hitting the reset button on your body. And that idea is fasting. So yeah, let's unpack this.
So, first things first, the big idea in this book, it's not just about fasting. It's bigger than that. It's about a total shift in how you see your health, about taking back the reins and being in charge of your own well-being. And this quote from the author, Dr. Isabelle Moser, really just nails it. Think about it for a second. Instead of waiting for your body to get sick and force you to rest, you can be smart about it. You can proactively give it that rest before you get sick. It's like you're working with nature, not waiting for it to fight you. So you're probably wondering, who was this doctor with such a bold take on things? Well, to really get her philosophy, you've got to know a little bit about where she was coming from. See, Dr. Moser wasn't some academic in an ivory tower. No, she was in the trenches. She started out as a nurse, then trained in natural medicine. A lot of her wisdom came from mixing her clinical practice with her own personal health experiments. So she wasn't just talking the talk, she was walking the walk. And her voice in the book is this perfect mix of compassionate and, well, totally uncompromising. Plus, she co-wrote it with her husband, who was an expert on self-reliance, which really grounds the whole thing in practical, real-world advice. And that brings us to her core philosophy, the absolute bedrock of her work. She believed, deep down, that our bodies have this incredible, innate power to heal themselves. The healing doesn't come from some pill or potion. It comes from within. We just have to give the body the right conditions. And for her, the number one condition was simply rest. Which leads us right to the biggest tool in her toolbox, the one she's most known for, fasting. But here's the key. She didn't see it as a diet. Not at all. To her, it was the body's ultimate reset button. In her world, fasting had nothing to do with quick-fix weight loss or some trendy fad. It was a deep, powerful tool for healing and regeneration. The goal was never just to shrink your waistline. It was to get fundamentally healthier, from the cells on up. Sure, weight loss might happen, and mental clarity too, but those were just nice bonuses to the real work happening inside. Okay, so how does this actually work? Well, when you think about it, it's kind of beautiful in its simplicity. Step 1, rest. When you stop eating, your digestive system, which is a huge energy hog, finally gets a vacation. Step 2, redirect. All that energy that was going to digestion, it's now free to be used for other things. And that leads to step 3, repair. The body takes that freed up energy and starts doing some serious deep cleaning, clearing out junk and repairing tissues at a cellular level. And the benefits she saw in her patients were, wow. We're talking serious detoxification, guts getting a chance to heal and renew, immune systems getting a total reset. And on top of all that, people reported this amazing mental clarity and focus. It's incredible. She was basically describing the science of longevity, decades before it was cool. And this is where it gets really mind-blowing. This shows just how far ahead of the curve she was. She used this phrase, deep cellular cleaning. Well, decades later, modern science gave it a fancy name, autophagy. The body's process for cleaning out damaged cells. And get this, the scientists who figured out the mechanisms for autophagy, they won the Nobel Prize in medicine for it in 2016. She knew it from observation long before they proved it in a lab. Just amazing. All right, so the why is fascinating, right? But what I really love about this book is the how. It's not just a bunch of theory. It's super practical. It's all about putting this wisdom into practice. And her guidelines are crystal clear. First, start small. Don't go jumping into some week-long fast. No way. Maybe just skip a meal. And she was adamant that preparation is key. Same goes for breaking the fast. That's just as important. You have to reintroduce food slowly, gently. Think juices, then fruits. But maybe her most important rule, you have to learn to listen to your body, to really understand the difference between I'm truly hungry and I just feel like eating.
Okay, but we've got to be fair and look at the whole picture. As empowering as her ideas are, they're not without criticism. It's important we talk about that too.
So, on the one side, you have this incredibly empowering message about taking control of your health. It gives you agency.
But the critique is that it can sometimes oversimplify things. It could lead to self-blame if things go wrong, and it might not account for complex factors like our genetics. And while her point about avoiding unnecessary medical stuff is good, there's a serious warning here. Doing a long water fast without any medical supervision can be genuinely risky. That's something that absolutely has to be said.
So you take the good, you take the critiques, and you have to ask, why does this old book still feel so relevant? Why does it still matter so much today? Honestly, I think it's because the problems she was talking about have only gotten, well, bigger. Our healthcare system can feel so confusing and expensive, and people are just looking for simple, low-cost ways to build up their own strength and resilience. This book speaks right to that. I mean, fasting doesn't cost a thing, right? It's a return to something simple in a really complicated world. So let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways here? First, start small. Maybe just try skipping one meal or doing a simple 24-hour fast and see how you feel. Second, always remember to prepare your body beforehand and refeed it carefully afterward. That's crucial. And most importantly, listen to your body. This is about being empowered, not being reckless. If something feels wrong, get some guidance. At the end of the day, remember, fasting is just one tool, a powerful one for sure, but it's part of a much bigger picture of holistic health. And really, the book leaves us with one big, profound question. In a world that's constantly shouting at us about what we should do, what we should buy, what we should eat, it asks us to just stop, to get quiet for a minute and just listen, to ask ourselves, what is my body really telling me? The answer you might find is a lot simpler than you've been led to believe.